Now we're recording. All right. Good morning, everyone. We have a fantastic crowd. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. For those of you joining from Asia, a fantastic crowd. We're already over 25 people on this webinar. And today, I thought it'd be really appropriate to bring to you more information about the EIM Credential that EIM Global has recently launched. It's an initiative that Robin and AJ are going to share with you all, and I think one of the goals we have at the end of this is what parts of this can you adapt or learn from to use in your own countries. And I think there's some really good work and some really great ideas here. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Robin. And again, like I said, please be interactive, ask questions in the chat, in live, and just have a great learning session. Robin, all you.
All right, thank you. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So I am excited to share with you this work that we have been doing and the product, the online learning experience that we recently launched. I've invited my colleague at the American College of Sports Medicine to join me. And in a few minutes, he's going to actually show you a little bit about the course that we developed for exercise professionals to help them work more effectively with those who have common chronic medical conditions. And this work, I've talked to you before about the vision of exercise as medicine and being very strategic about what we choose to do and what we choose to spend time on. Oh gosh, there we go. And our vision includes the third piece of our vision speaks directly to resources that physicians and other providers can refer to in the community that can help guide patients and individuals who need some assistance in becoming more physically active. So this work we have been doing for the last year and a half has been to help us meet exactly that part of the vision, and that is to make physical activity assessment and promotion a standard in clinical care, to connect healthcare with evidence-based physical activity resources. And those resources include professionals. Number one, exercise professionals that are prepared and qualified to work with clients and patients, programs that are offered for specific types of populations, group exercise programs and other disease-specific programs, places, exercise facilities, parks, and gyms, and even one's home where one might be physically active, and then self-guided resources, which now more than ever, we have our smartphones and we can use activity trackers and mobile apps. But this effort relates to professionals, and one of our fundamentals, which is to develop resources for exercise professionals to help educate and prepare them to work with clients. So there have been a couple of trends that informed what we did for this online course that we're going to show you. And the first has to do with aging. And these are trends in the United States, but they're being repeated around the world. In 2019, in our country, there were 30 million women and 24 men over the age of 65. That number of adults over the age of 65 increased by more than a third, has increased by more than a third since 2009. And we will in 2040 reach 80 million adults over the age of 65 in this country. And this is compared to just a 3% increase in the general population. In addition, adults over the age of 65, we have currently 6.6 million adults in 85, and that will double by 2040. So we will have a lot of individuals who are aging that will benefit from being physical activity. There's another demographic trend here in the United States that again is being repeated around the world, and that is the number of people with chronic medical conditions. In the United States, currently 60% of adults have one chronic disease and 40% have two or more. And if we look at older adults, that's over age 65, that number jumps to 85% have a chronic disease and 60% have at least two chronic diseases. And they want to live healthy lives, and they want to try to manage these diseases or reduce their impact on their lives. And so this informed some of the content that's in the Exercises Medicine online course, because regardless of whether a physician or other healthcare provider refers someone to an exercise professional, those people will walk through our doors. They will come to us in our communities because they need help being physically active. So I'm going to talk to you about two things: the Exercises Medicine Credential and the Exercises Medicine online course. And they are related, but they are different. So the Exercises Medicine Credential is an opportunity for those who already have an accredited fitness certification. In the United States, it's from the National Commission on Certifying Agencies. Internationally, it's an ISO IEC 17024 certification. It's an opportunity for those who already have demonstrated competence in exercise prescription to learn more, to engage in continuing education and develop new skills and knowledge. So the Exercises Medicine is the credential is part of ACSM's what we call Specialty Certificate Program. It's not a certification, a baseline certification. It's a specialty training program for those who have a background. Some of you may know the structure and how the Exercises Medicine Credential was previously put together and offered. And we've made some changes based on focus groups, and I'll share more of that with you. But one of those changes is that anyone who seeks to get the Exercises Medicine Credential must take the online course. And that is we decided to focus on 9 of the common chronic medical conditions and also add health and wellness coaching techniques in that course. Those individuals who obtain the EIM credential have met specific requirements, which I will share in a moment. And this will allow them to be part of the Exercises Medicine community. And when we have partnerships in the community here in the United States, we require that people who are facilitating those programs either possess the EIM credential or have an ACSM clinical exercise physiologist certification. So this credential is basically a recognition of those who have a certain type of preparation, and also provides now the education that I mentioned. So previously there were 3 levels and different requirements and exemptions for these different levels, depending on the kind of patient and the risk level of the patient one might see. And so we said, actually, when I came in like over 3 years ago, maybe 4 now, we started doing surveys of healthcare providers. What do you need from an exercise professional? We surveyed our exercise professionals to say, why did you get the credential? What is the value to you? We also talked to our certification staff at ACSM, and we have committees here at ACSM, a credential committee and a governance board, and we talked to them to get their opinion about the credential. And as a result of those, we learned several things. We learned that doctors really wanted here in the United States, people with an exercise or people with the credential, they wanted someone with a college or university degree in exercise science. so that they could trust that that person had enough knowledge and background to work safely with their patients. And they told us 3 levels was confusing. Exercise professionals said that they wanted to learn more about how to work with aging clients, as well as low back pain and osteoarthritis that they would commonly see in those patients who also had metabolic conditions. And they also told us that the 3-level scheme was confusing. And talked to ACSM staff, and they also felt that we needed to simplify things. So we agreed that we would have 1 credential that would be for certified exercise professionals that required education that we could provide online, would allow us to reach many more professionals, but also provide a foundation, a similar foundation of education, so that we knew, regardless of what curriculum or university someone came from, they all had certain key knowledge. So for our exercises medicine credential, these are the requirements: that you must have a bachelor's degree in exercise science, exercise physiology, kinesiology, or a related field; that you must have, as I mentioned, an accredited certification, either NCCA or ISO IEC 17024, and that you must complete all modules of the EIM online course and pass the online exams. And after passing the online course, you will be invited to apply for the credential if you meet those other requirements. If you do not, then you will have completed the online course. You will have received a lot of very valuable information and continuing education credits that you can apply to whatever certification you have. So now let's go to the online course, which I'm excited to show you about, show you. So this course can be taken by anyone, anywhere, who wants to learn more about working with individuals that have certain challenges. And in order to create this course, we went to subject matter experts across the American College of Sports Medicine in various topical areas and asked if they would share, would help us create the content based on the latest guidelines and their clinical or research knowledge. And so we were very fortunate to have 35 of those subject matter experts contribute content. The ending course ended up to be at least 15 hours in length, so it takes a while to work through, and we encourage people to take their time and work through those modules over a couple-month period, particularly if they're working, so that they can absorb all of the information. After each module, we have a quiz. So we decided not to do a big exam at the end, but we did a quiz at the end, a little test at the end of each module. We did that for 2 reasons. The first is to assess knowledge. The second is to reinforce learning. So we wanted to ask questions about the most important information and do that in such a way that would help people remember it moving forward. As I mentioned, all of the content is aligned with ACSM's latest exercise guidelines for exercise testing and prescription, with the latest government-issued physical activity guidelines for Americans, and then also best practices and clinical pearls from experts who are working with individuals in various areas. So the course includes guidelines, training tips, exercise prescription modifications for various patient types. And then we also provide handouts so that if people can't remember all the information they learned as they went through the online course, they have something that they can refer to later. So what's in the course? Well, it's an interactive online experience. AJ is going to show you in a moment. We decided to introduce some features based on what we know about adults and online learning. And that is, we introduce what we call periodic engagement breaks to reinforce learning. And that is, instead of just reading or listening on the computer, that every now and then you have to answer a question or play a game that helps you to remember and think about what you've learned. We also put in periodic movement breaks because we found that that is helpful in helping individuals focus, that physical activity does improve cognition, and it also helps with focus. And then it also reinforces the message that we all want to send to everyone, that every active minute counts, and minutes of activity throughout the day can add up to help someone meet their physical activity goals. We included some video clips in several modules, not all, but in several, that were provided by our subject matter experts. And we also included some avatars that pop up every now and then to provide some additional tips, Coach Anna and Dr. Carl, to just provide learning in a different way. We were very conscious of trying to have diversity in all of the images we use because we serve diverse populations, various ages, various genders, and also various ethnic groups. Because we put this together in a module fashion, you'll see that we can pull out different modules for different purposes. And we're excited to be able to offer some of the individual modules in the future for those people who don't want to take the whole course, but say they just want to learn about pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes. They can have the opportunity to just take that 3-hour course instead of all 15 hours. All right, let me go through here. Okay, there was a long process to create this course with the subject matter experts. I will go through it that quickly. I want to share with you just what isn't contained in the course. So the first module is healthcare basics. And for us here in the United States, we do not have socialized medicine. We do have some government funded opportunities to receive healthcare, but it's different than in socialized medicine countries. And our exercise professionals who do not work in healthcare do not understand some of the ways in which you have to speak with and interface with healthcare providers. So we talked about the models of healthcare. We talk about integrating exercises medicine into the clinical space. We talk about terminology that is used in healthcare that it would be helpful for an exercise professional to understand, how to document what you find when you work with the patient, evaluate them, and also train them, how to communicate with both providers and patients. And we talk about key principles of patient privacy and then scope of practice. And so that is an initial module for anyone that does not work in a healthcare setting. The second very comprehensive module includes 9 common chronic medical conditions plus an introduction to working with patients with cancer. And those common chronic medical conditions include high blood pressure, dyslipidemia, obesity and overweight, metabolic syndrome, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, osteoarthritis, and low back pain. And in addition, we added a section on aging, working with individuals who are aging. We also have a 3-hour module there about facilitating behavior change with our partner Well Coaches, and also an ACSM subject matter expert. And we call this the coach approach. And we review key behavior change theories here, but then move very quickly into techniques you can use with patients or clients to help them take ownership of their own decision-making about being active, and so consequently be more successful in the long run. This module has many videos associated with it demonstrating how to use these techniques and talking more about the rationale behind those. And lastly, we talk about exercise prescription special settings, not only for older adults, but also if you are working with small group medical fitness program, as well as with COVID-19, we've all had to pivot and be working virtually in many cases using telehealth. And so we have a section on doing virtual training and using technology to connect with patients and clients. Now, just prior to launching the 15-hour course, we did launch a 1-hour exercise prescription module, which is built similarly to the big 15-hour course. And we did this for those who are preparing to take an ACSM certification exam, for a personal trainer or exercise physiologist, or those who just want all in one place the key guidelines for sedentary or apparently healthy older adults, that summarizes ACSM's guidelines, the National Physical Activity Guidelines, has a section on sedentary behavior reduction, and that's just 1 hour for someone who can benefit from this type of information. This may include a lot of exercise or healthcare providers who do not know what we know as exercise professionals about the basic guidelines. Let's see, I'm going to go by that. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. We launched this course in June of 2015. We've had really good response to this course. Many individuals have chosen to take this course, regardless of whether they are qualified for the credential or not. They have chosen to take the course for continuing education and professional development. And a big motivation for this has been education, getting the right information, helpful information out to people who can most use it. So AJ, I know there you are. I can see you on the screen among everyone. AJ, I'm going to have AJ introduce himself, and then he's going to share with you a little bit. He's going to share his screen and show you a little bit about what the experience is about, which may be different than other offerings that you have seen. So go ahead, AJ. You're on mute, so there we go.
Thank you, Robin. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming from almost every part and walk of the earth. This is awesome, and I'm honored to be here today. So I do have to apologize, of course. About 2 minutes ago, somebody started mowing the lawn outside, not my lawn, my neighbor. So if you hear anything in the background, I apologize about that. So my name is AJ Generali. I've been with ACSM for a few months now. However, I've been a part of the organization for some time. And my particular role with the organization is the e-learning specialist. I'm considered an e-learning specialist. And my role with this project was quite literally to just take it the last couple steps across the finish line. So I can't take too much credit for the work that went into it. We had, of course, Robin and all of our SME contributors. And I have to give a shout out to Kate, who also helped us a lot. Robin, she did the brunt of the work behind the scenes. And I'm here just kind of managing it at this point. But without any further ado, let's go right into it. Robin, I'm going to share here. And let me back up one just so we know. Okay. This is the home screen to the course. And if you are familiar with any of the courses ACSM has done in the past, they function just a little different. And that is only in layout and delivery, okay? All the content, I mean, aside from the updates, is always right on point. What was different with this one, as opposed to maybe courses you might have seen in the past that had, maybe a voiced over PowerPoint, a PDF handout of some type of research, and then a quiz. This was built using a specific authoring tool to make it exactly what Robin has been saying, more interactive for the user, which maybe is everybody here and beyond. So she's already laid out most of the course, so this won't take me too much time. However, we do have a whole list of course, this doesn't want to play with me now. Okay, let me restart this. Sorry about that. Oh, man. Robin, I think this happens most times. It's always something. Always something. So here's the introduction and our little navigation menu to the left, giving you all of the modules Robin had talked about, including these quizzes. And of course, you need to pass the quizzes in each module to move on to the next one. It is lockstep like that. Okay, Robin, I'm going to choose, I looked through this hypertension module. I think this is a good place to start. So
Okay.
as you progress through this course, you'll notice a few things. At the beginning of each different module, we have those handouts Robin had talked about, again, giving you some type of concrete reading material if that's how you prefer this information, or if you get stuck in the weeds somewhere, you always have something to reference back to. We always start with a description and, of course, learning objectives for each particular module, okay? And of course, at the bottom, we have our contributing authors, the SMEs for each module as well. So as we get into this, you'll kind of notice off the bat, it's laid out different than what you might have seen. And this was all done through our friend Kate, who did an excellent job kind of taking all the information and making it something that's super interactive and nice. Okay, so as we click through every part of the screen, you'll see you can click here and there, and we're going to start with this hypertension, okay? And as we come in, it is pretty intuitive, okay? And you'll see after you read a little bit, there'll be some interactive places, and I don't have the ability to move forward yet until I do everything that this particular slide wants me to do, giving you all of the information in different little pockets, making you think, making you work. And it's not just so cut and dry as watch, read, and complete. You actually have to interact a little bit, okay? So as we thumb through here, there are just a bunch of different ways in which we've displayed content, okay? Varying how we display content, again, keeps the user involved and engaged. And that was the point of this 15-hour course. It gets a little tedious, maybe at times it's lengthy. However, we try to vary and keep you interested throughout. And as I progress through 6 out of 6 here, then this arrow should pop up, which it did. And here's another interactive, right? A quick, and these aren't necessarily graded. This doesn't contribute to your grade for the course, okay? This is just a knowledge check. Are you paying attention, or are you doing exactly what I've been doing and just clicking through it, okay? So again, you'll get a couple of tries here, even if it's wrong, okay? It'll tell you some feedback. Some of them are 2 to 3 tries before it pushes you forward automatically. Again, it's not graded and it does not reflect, okay? Perfect. And you'll see down here, we have what Robin called Coach Carl, just another place to click on and get more information. And as you click on that, then you'll be able to click on the next part, so on and so forth.
And he talks. You can't hear him now, but he's talking.
Yes, he talks. It's a little robotic, but it does its job. Okay. I think most of you might get the gist. If I were to keep going, I'm almost a quarter way just through the hypertension part. And again, there's more interactives. What I like about, oh, good guess there. What I like about this particular course is that I have trouble finding a page where the information is displayed in the same way. And that is a tip of the cap to Kate, who helped to really make this and bring this alive. She did such a wonderful job. And see, I can't click on this last one down here because I need to click up here and get some more information. And I believe if I were to press learn more, it'll bring me out into the website for the American Heart Association.
Mm-hmm.
Again, can't move forward until I click every place. Coach Carl comes back up, and I know I'm going very fast here. I'm not expecting anybody to get any of this information. Okay. So again, the interactivity of this course is unparalleled, and it is a complete 180 from anything that ACSM has done in the past. And we are so thrilled to bring it to life and to offer it to EIM, and hopefully this is just the starting point. What's nice about what we did as well is that we can always go back in and make real-time updates to the particular files without really changing much in the course. So as the information, as the research, the science updates, improves, we're going to be able to make those changes without changing the course too much. And that's
So
really
AJ,
the quick.
you did not share the navigation module, quick navigation module. Do you think that would be
Yes.
valuable to show?
As I started, Robin, I figured you'd want me to show that.
Yeah, because that
Well,
shows
we also-
before everyone starts the course, there's a little 3-minute navigation module that shows people how to work through it. So you don't have to go, oh, what do I do? That you know
Right.
that you have to click on things, and this means this, that means that. And then you can go through the module and be very efficient at doing it.
Right. So this was very nice what they put together. Again, hey, what the heck am I doing here? What do I click? What does this mean? And we have an entire module that tells you exactly that. Every part of the screen will be explained to you, and it will give you a little, I don't know, practice in kind of navigating your way through something. And I'm clicking very fast because I know where everything is, but you can, of course, take your time. The course is completely asynchronous, meaning that you work at your own pace, or it is a self-paced course. Robin had said they'd like to have you finish over the course of a couple months, and that is just for learning purposes. This is a self-paced course. You work on it when you'd like. You do as much as you can in whatever given time you have. You can always come back and it will save your progress. And I did it.
Great, thanks.
And then you'll notice as soon as you finish, it'll automatically move you on to the next one and give you that green check mark.
Thank you, AJ. So
Yeah, of course.
So this is, now you see what I personally have been working on with our subject matter experts and our designer for the last year. It's been a real exciting project for us. We expended not a lot of money up front. We had to invest, frankly, in our designer heavily in video edits, but we've already recaptured that investment because there's been such interest in the course. So we're very thrilled about that. So I would be, it's online, it's available for anyone, anywhere. If you speak English, of course, the course is already built and you can see how complex it is. So I am willing to, I know, Mark, I don't know if you've been monitoring the chat. AJ and I are definitely open to taking any questions about the course and its availability. And
yeah, I mean, Robin, I'd just like to, if you don't mind, expand upon one of the things you said there, and this is really kind of, one of the messages I think that could be applicable is, this started about 2 years ago when Robin, maybe even a little bit longer, said we need to do a better job in how we train our EIM exercise professionals. And I think all the countries on here, Hercules, I'm looking at you in the Philippines. I see Sri Lanka. I know you're doing stuff in training folks. We're all facing this, but it's all different in every country. But here in the US, Robin just walked everyone through. Here's the process for what we decided we needed to do in the US. And you might have you might come to a different decision in your country. But then from there, it was like, okay, we knew we needed to do this online to expand the reach. I think a lot of you all are doing in-person trainings, which is great. You get 20 people, they come in, you charge a fee, you do a training, but it's 20 people in a country of 10, 20, 50 million people. So how do we get that reach? How do we generate more revenue? And then I think the next step is, well, we reached out to a design company and they're very, very expensive. And it was more money than frankly, we could afford. It was just too much. But through some serendipity, we were able to connect with someone that did it on the side and able to get a rate that was affordable to us. It was still rather expensive, but it was much less than a full-blown company was. And Robin, I don't know about you, but this was released in June, I think June 15th, correct?
Yes, that's right.
And I think the revenue generated in 3 months or 2 months, it's not even two, it's just over 2 months, has now paid off in only 2 months the investment to work with the person to design all of this. Now, obviously it took Robin a tremendous amount of work. But it was also another way that she was able to engage members. So members are recognized. There's so many positives out of this. And I think now at this point, Robin, it's on kind of play and repeat. It's just very low level maintenance, and people are taking this and we market it. And this is be something we can use for years to come. Please correct me if I didn't get all those details right.
Yeah, so Mark, no, that is true. When ACSM's newest guidelines come out, then we will go through the course and make sure that everything that we have there is updated or aligns. As new information comes out, as AJ mentioned, we can go in and update that. For now, we don't expect that to happen, in the next year or two. But we're situated to be able to do that as opposed to having to start from scratch again.
So, I mean, I don't think, speaking to the audience here, I don't think this is something that we can, share with you. It's very customized to the US. It uses US language, US guidelines, US photos of people. But I do think it's very much the idea, the concept is something we're willing to share with you and help guide you, that if you want to engage in a similar process, we look at, and Sandra's not on here, she's in EIM Latin America. She didn't have the investment to make a fully online. She's kind of done a voiceover PowerPoint, but she's gone into her university's filming and production studio, and it's a really, really professional job. And I'm looking at the folks from Cyprus, and they're about to do some professional filming in their university. And I think there's some ways that if you all are willing to put in the work up front, there could be this could be a good revenue generating type of activity for all of you. So,
well, let me
please.
jump in here, Mark. So some of this content is universal, right? That the guidelines for working with patients with prediabetes or osteoarthritis, I mean, that's universal. Some of the content is more specific to the US, as in our healthcare system. And even the behavior coaching, it's all universal. So frankly, I think that much of this course could be applicable, in many countries. It's just in English, and because you could see the complexity of it, we cannot translate it into other languages at this point, because there's so many buttons and whistles and changes, and that would be too difficult. But if it would be of value as it is currently, we are certainly, it's certainly something that you could offer or promote to your exercise professionals. And as we pull out modules, then for education, then we will let you know and say the first 3 modules we're going to pull out are the pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes. That will be 3 hours in length. We're going to pull out the osteoarthritis and low back pain. That will be 2 to 3 hours in length. And the behavior coaching will be 3 hours in length. So again, it's online. So anyone, anywhere can access it and learn about how to work in those various areas.
I think if Christophoros, if that didn't answer your question, please feel free to reach out to us, and we can try and work with you to figure out, we can't, because of the translation issues, because of all the where it's being hosted, we can't give this to people, but we can certainly share aspects, knowledge, and different things like that. Now, I do want to make one thing clear, that's come up in other presentations. This is for exercise professionals. This is not necessarily geared towards doctors and nurses. That's a different audience, right? This is geared towards exercise professionals who have a baseline knowledge in exercise prescription, where a lot of times when we're working with doctors and physicians and nurses, we're working with people who have no knowledge or limited knowledge in physical activity. So it's just, and I think we've talked, Robin, about, some of these could be applicable to doctors and nurses, but there is a lot of material in here that's quite advanced that'd be more than a doctor and a nurse would know without that baseline training, correct?
Yeah, I think different doctors and healthcare provider types have different amounts of time to spend with a patient. That's a problem here in the United States. Doctors can't spend a half hour designing an in-depth exercise prescription, and they don't have that training to do it in the first place. So, but other healthcare provider types like diabetes educators, or health educators, they may have time, or nurses, they may have more time to talk to a patient about exercise. But for us here in the United States, most doctors don't have the time. They may appreciate the knowledge, but it was not written to that audience specifically, right? So we're going to go through and maybe pull out some of these modules and repackage them for a certain healthcare provider type. But right now, as Mark said, the audience was exercise professionals. Anyway, I'm not looking at the chat, Mark. So if there's any other questions through the chat, I am happy to answer those.
Well, and thank you, Hercules, for your content. And I know you and your team is very strong in exercise professionals. And just speaking, we'll talk about the Philippines because I'm familiar with your setup, but this is really for everyone. The Philippines doesn't have a certified exercise professional training certification. And so I've always talked to Hercules. I said, this is an opportunity for EIM Philippines to establish itself at a national level and be that one certifying body. And so taking concepts like this might be, Hercules, you said it in the chat room, this is your chance to make a certification, a credential, modeling it after something like this that could be recognizable across the country, and you could be making quite a good deal of money down the road as the only national certification body in town. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for countries like the Philippines, Bob in Uganda. I don't know the situation in Sri Lanka. But I imagine it's similar. So a lot of opportunities here, I think.
And I would just echo what Mark said. If any of you have any questions and would like to talk to me directly about the course and how we may be able to help you in your own countries, we would be happy to do that, whether it's delivering all or parts of the course to your populations or learning from our process to develop something on your own. We have made it part of this a requirement for a specialty certificate program here, but you certainly could make it a requirement for whatever you develop if you find that it's valuable.
And AJ, I just maybe throw a question to you here, and AJ, do you want to just talk about the logistical side a little bit and loading this onto a learning management system? I think most people on the call have some sort of learning management systems with their universities or institutions. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I had put in the chat the name of the particular software that was used to develop the very interactive side of the course, and that is called Articulate. Now, I'm not sure outside of the US what is the gold standard for what is called an authoring tool. Okay, I think those buzzwords might help in your search. But as far as so I would implore everybody to kind of do a little bit of research and digging on authoring tools. And the one that we used is Articulate, and that is right in the chat. As far as loading it onto LMS, most LMSs these days are super compatible with whatever type of media. And in this case, it is something that is specific to Articulate, where you are exporting all of the content to keep the interactives succinct and synchronous, right? Most LMSs are completely compatible these days, meaning that they're built to accept a lot of media and a lot of differing file types. So it is quite a bit of work to do that. It takes somebody with some type of instructional design like myself, knowledge on how to most efficiently, effectively produce a course that makes sense for a user and is logical as you go through it. I think most, and if Mark is correct, if you have access to a learning management system, something that would be located maybe on a university. I think that's most places where we see LMSs for the most part is at the university level, where where students' courses are located and things like that. If you can get your hands on one, they're not too expensive for the most part in the grand scheme of things. It just takes somebody with a little bit of expertise to manage it. But as far as that side of things, it's relatively simple and straightforward if you have somebody who's done a little bit of it in the past. Mark, I hope that answers the question or the prompt a little bit.
So AJ, I'm going to follow up to that. The designer that we had, the course designer, Kate, that AJ mentioned, was instrumental. We had, as I mentioned, all these subject matter experts, but they were not completely aware of what the capabilities were of this platform. So one of the things that I spent a lot of time doing was working with those subject matter experts who are used to writing journal articles and articles for this and that and the other, or giving PowerPoint presentations, to help take that information and put it in such a way that it could be then built in that interactive platform. And that actually took a lot of time and back and forth to do that, as opposed to just reading an article or to having somebody talk through some slides. It involved quite a lengthy interactive process to get the material from one place over to another place where it would come alive with a designer that really could make that happen.
Mark, can I say something?
Yeah, Bob, jump in, please.
Yeah, I appreciate everything. And what the humble request I wanted to make is that, is it possible that I can secure a one-pager letter explaining that course? Because today I had a chance to meet with the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Public Service, and I told them about this opportunity. And they told me if I can have a one-pager letter that I can take to them explaining this type of education, because we are totally lacking here in Uganda to get people with relevant education that they can execute their education. So I would humbly request, if possible, I get a one-pager letter that I can take those two relevant authorities, so that at least something can be incepted here.
Yeah, Bob, follow up with me via email, and we can certainly talk about that, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
And yeah, Bob, those are certainly things that we want to do to help you and any other EIM National Center. Again, we can't deliver this to you, but we can certainly walk you through things. And I'd like to bring Sandra in a future webinar where you can see how she's done it through a voiceover PowerPoint. And it's really, really excellent done. And she's now offering the course every 3 months to over 200 people across Latin America.
Yes.
So I think there's a lot of different ways to do this. There's moderate budget, high budget. Georgie, I'd like to call on you here.
Mark, let me stop you a minute. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I apologize. But
No,
yes, we can deliver the course to Bob. Like if he, I have that information, Bob, already put together for a description of the course. So I can do that. I'll work with Mark to get that to you. But if this is something that you feel would be valuable, it's online. It can be delivered to individuals in your country. So, I mean, you can create your own, but as you can kind of tell, it took a long time and a lot of work. So if the material is relevant, it is certainly something that you could offer in your country. So we can talk about it offline. Go ahead, Mark.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was
Bring it up.
I'll come back to you, Georgie. I was gonna throw to you because AJ was talking about the learning management system, and I think what you did is you went to your university and you looked at their learning management system and it was compatible with this too as well, right?
Yeah, Mark, hi, everybody. Yes, certainly it was. So we use a system called Moodle, and it's definitely compatible with this particular software or interactive course. Yeah, so it definitely is.
Great. Me, go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate your talks, Robin and AJ. I think the course is very interesting. I have two questions. The first question is about the requirement for the course, because exercise professionals have to have a degrees like sports science or exercise kinesiology, for example. And after that, they have to have the ACSM fitness certification. That means they have to go for that course prior to join the EIM course. Am I right? This is my first.
So anyone, thank you for that question. Anyone can take the course for education, right? There's no requirement to take the course. In the United States, to get this credential, then you have to have those other requirements. But just to take the course, you don't have to have any pre-requirements at all. Now, if you do have a background in exercise science, you will be better able to understand the information, but anyone can take the course.
The second question, if we would like to initiate this kind of program, for example, in Thailand, do we have to decide the course and send the course to be approved by the ACSM?
Oh, if you decide to design your own course?
Yes, because I think we have some challenges in terms of budget. Because I don't think exercise professionals in Thailand can afford the fee, the cost fee. And second issue is about the language barrier. I think we have to translate the materials from English to Thai language.
Yes, we because you are all EIM national centers, we give you the authority to do what works well in your country. We rely on you to use ACSM guidelines for exercise testing and prescription, which are accepted around the world as national, as guidelines. So we ask that you use those guidelines to inform whatever you do. And we do have, Mark had a curriculum that he shared several years ago. We have not updated that curriculum because we've frankly been working on this project. But I can talk to Mark after this call about how we can respond to your request.
Thank you.
So me, just to, what that means in Thailand is, if you and your advisory board decide we want to offer an EIM Thailand credential, you're allowed to design that the way you want. If you want to link people to the US version, they have to follow the US ACSM rules and guidelines.
But no,
But
no,
if you-
Mark, but if you want to link to the course, they can use it. They don't have to follow any of our guidelines. They can use the course and then pair it with anything else. But if they want to do the whole credential thing, that's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I know that's a little confusing, so.
So Georgie, do you have, your question, Robin, was, do you have to have a degree in ACSM qualification? So I think going back to what people needed to do to get the EIM credential.
Yes, if they would like to obtain the EIM credential, right, which is different than the course. If you would like to take the get the EIM credential, you must take the course, have a bachelor's degree in exercise science or related field, and have that accredited certification, and the international version is the ISO IEC version, right? But if you just wish to develop your own program or offer continuing education, then you can use the course in combination with whatever you choose to do. Does that make sense, Mark? Am I answering that question correctly for people?
Yeah. So again, it's like, and this might be a closing point, or my closing point, and then I'll turn. If someone wanted to get an ACSM certification, you have to follow ACSM guidelines for doing that.
Right.
But if EIM South Africa decides we're going to create an exercise professional training program, you build it, you have your own credentials, your own requirements, your own things. So it's kind of one of those, and so you have that flexibility to do and build and create your own. We do have these tools available we can help you with. As Robin stated, you could link people to our EIM credential training as a requirement for yours. So there's a lot of different things we can work with and help you. So we're coming up on the hour. Robin,
Let me just say one more thing. Yeah, Mark, we have worked with, if a group wishes to purchase the course in bulk, like 10, 20, 30, we do lower pricing. We give discounts for that. Our ACSM communications team, I don't make that decision, but they give 10% off, 20, 30% off the more courses that someone buys. Like we've had a university professor want to buy 10. We've had a fitness facility company buy 30 and they get 30% off. So that cost is manageable if people want to buy it in bulk, and then you give a course code to each individual who takes the course. So there are some pricing options that make it more affordable.
Awesome. So Daniela, the degree granted by your country, can you do the course and get the credential?
Yeah, if you went to a university or college in your country and you have a degree in exercise science plus the accredited certification, yes, you can get the credential.
There you go. All right, well, we're right on the top of the hour. I'd like to first thank AJ for your joining us today. And Robin, I'll turn it over to you for any last words you want to.
Well, just thank you for your attention. If there's a way we can help you or this course can help you, we're very excited to have it out there. And the more people that see it will learn and be able to help people be more healthy through activity. So please circle back with Mark or I if you have questions, individual questions, or if anything I said was confusing, I'm happy to clear it up and make sure we can help you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Okay.